take a look at this chart, and this, what do you see? You see support zones and flip zones, but also too you see a false support. So what makes this a valid support and what makes this a false support? In today's video, you will learn what true support and resistance are, because there are false support and resistance zones. You also learn how to spot flip zones and use them profitably. So if making profits is your cup of tea, then welcome to Ibitom Watch and let's dive right into today's video. As you must have known, a support zone or a resistance zone, okay, is a zone where price has reacted many times, okay, and then when price comes there, you expect them to react from and sell off. Well, not true. That is actually a very, very false line, because that's what most retail traders have been taught. So what makes up a true support and resistance zone? There are three things that makes up a true support and resistance zone. The first one is it must have an impulsive move. The second is there must be a manipulation zone. Now the third, you must have a candlestick confirmation. So let's dive right in. So what is an impulsive move? An impulsive move actually consists of at least three candles, okay? Where you are that the first candle is actually, possibly a small candle, whatever kind of candle it is. Then the second candle is a large range move, okay? And then the third candle, okay, just creates whatever sort of wick it can. But this wick doesn't come into this candle. This is what consists of an impulsive move. And the larger the candle, the better the zone. Okay, so for instance, this is not an impulsive move. Even though they sold very well, this zone here did not give an impulsive move. Why? Because if you look at this large candle, even the candle before it, this candle completely filled, the whole zone. So this is not an impulsive move. So that's the reason why this will never work as a support or resistance zone. So wherever you see this kind of trade and you actually draw it out, you even see multiple candles respect to know that they will run it through. So the second rule is wait for the manipulation zone. Look for the manipulation zone, rather. So what does this actually mean? So why is this a support? And why did I see this actually? Where is the false support? This is a false support. Can you see this zone? It didn't give an impulsive move. Yes, it did buy a lot, but this is not an impulsive move. And that's why when they came here, you couldn't even get anything. Now, this is actually very, very important. So let's talk about the manipulation zone. Now, when you get an impulsive move, okay, look for that candle, usually the small ones, okay, where price refused, okay, to really move to the other side, where you see that they were stalling, okay, that is your manipulation zone. You must always get it for price to be considered, for that zone to be considered a support or resistance zone. Why is this so? Okay, now let's take a typical example. Look at this trade right here, okay. Price came here and you can see the impulsive move. It gave a candle here and this candle did not come into it. That is what made it an impulsive move. So when price rallied away from it, it came there multiple times, okay? When price rallied away from it, this was the manipulation. This candle here, look at how price has been selling all the way from that top zone. Price had been selling, okay, giving a lot of sales, but came here and was just stalling. That is your manipulation zone. So once you get that, you draw it out. Now, does that mean that that's a certified support? No, it's not a certified support until we have the third rule, which is candlestick confirmation as entry trigger. So when price came here, it gave this Arami pattern, which was somewhat, confirmed by this. Okay, this would have made it a complete morning star, but it's not the best. Well, it did give this and it rallied up. So we have this support zone right here. Price came here the first time, gave a candlestick pattern. That is what gave rise to this buy. Then again, it came down to the same zone, gave this Arami pattern, and then confirmed it with this engulfing pattern that engulfed all of this here. And you can say that's the reason why price rallied up. So what about in a case where you have something like this, okay? Where you have something like this, this is surely an impulsive move, okay? However, price came here, gave the manipulation, and still went down, but came here and refused to go down. Now you can see this is why I don't use pin bars, okay? For the first entry or support zones, don't use pin bars. Don't use pin bars. I don't use them, except if it is the flip zone and you actually see some examples. So it came here, gave this, it did not give a candlestick confirmation, okay? And you can see that they rallied away from it very well. Now, the fact that they rallied away from it does not mean you should actually give up on the zone. You drag it out because there are still orders there. So when price comes there the next time, you want to be watching it for a what? a candlestick pattern. Once they give a candlestick pattern, you can engage right there. This is actually a railroad track. It is my number 4 in my ranking of candlestick patterns. So this is a railroad track, and that's your flip zone, and you can see that's what gave rise to this buy. Now I want to pay attention to what is currently happening now on the charts. You can see this zone. Okay, this zone is actually, this is clearly an impulsive move. This zone is the manipulation zone. Let me draw this out so you can see it's a clear manipulation zone. And you can see that when they came here, we didn't get a candlestick. This is why I don't like this type. We didn't get a candlestick pattern. Okay, this was supposed to be an engulfing, but it did not give an engulfing. And so I'm waiting on this and I'm watching this. If we get an engulfing here, okay, or an Arami and a confirmed Arami, then we can engage on the sell to take it what? Down. So there are 3 things you learned from this video to spot true support and resistance zone. The first is wait for impulsive moves, okay? Then the second is wait for manipulation zones. And the third is take the candlestick confirmation as your entry trigger. Until the candlestick confirmation is given, that zone is not a true support or resistance zone. Now, let's go into the psychology of why this actually works. Now, this is premised on the fact that there are people moving the markets. So what exactly do I mean? If you are, if you feel that this market just moves randomly, then I actually bring it to you. You're actually a very naive trader, a naive person. Why? Because there's no way that there will be extreme orderliness in the market, without some inputs humanly. Okay. So, for instance, look at your law institutes, that is your legal system, look at your educational system. The reason why there's actually some sort of, stability is because humans are actually managing it. So there are people, yes, that are being thoughtful is the business, okay, of the market. So if there are people actually doing that, then how do we follow their footsteps? Because they are the ones that are the deep pockets in the market. Very, very simple. You can't tell me that retail traders were the ones that caused this kind of massive move or this kind of massive move. Yes, they might be the one entering all of this trade here, but they were not the one that caused this kind of massive move. So what does that tell you? What does that actually imply for us? Very, very simple. When you actually spot that, they've given an impulsive move like this, that tells you that they came into the market. So where do you think they were mostly selling from? Obviously from the zone where the manipulation was happening. Also, to where do you think they were buying from to give this? From the zone, from the zone where they were moving up. That's the reason why I picked this point, this exact one, before they started moving. You don't want to pick the one below it. You want to pick the exact one that started it, okay? Yes, they might have started buying from here, but it is here that we had the most important volume move, okay? So that's the reason why I picked this. And if you watch, that's how I keep on picking. For instance, look at this zone here. We had a very, very good, rally up here, which is actually an impulsive move. And that's why when he came here, he gave this kind of Arami, not the best kind of Arami, but it confirmed it. And that's the reason why you see, it actually gave this buy. Now, lastly, what is the exit trigger? The exit trigger is not what confirms a true support or resistance zone. That's the reason why I didn't put it first in the rules. So the exit trigger is when you buy at a support zone, you exit at a resistance zone. Sometimes I like to exit at half of the range. So I would have assumed that this is, a good zone to actually sell for. But however, look at, they didn't give a candlestick pattern, okay? Not an Arami, not an engulfing, nothing, okay? And what is it called? Not even a morning star here. So not an evening star, since actually the sell side. So I wouldn't really be in this sell. However, even if you were in this sell, this is also a support zone, a clear support zone, right? And did they give a candlestick pattern? Not a very, very favorable one. So if I was in this trade and I was still holding it, my stop loss will still be here. While I'm actually targeting where this flip zone, I will have seen this flip zone. So when you actually see the market, you should see it in these zones where the market wants to move away from or move towards. So if this market gives me a very, very good candlestick pattern here, I'll be looking to short it, okay, from here. I know that all these zones will be bastardized, okay? Clearly, this will be completely, possibly bastardized. All of these zones here will be bastardized. So there's a high tendency that if we get the sell from here, we will take it down to here, okay? So with this, we've come to the end of this video. If you found value in this video, please hit the subscribe button, click the like button, and share to friends and families and to enemies too. Okay, they all need it. Until next time, see you. Bye bye.